Oh, we got to unmute you here. Hold on one second. Can you try to unmute yourself? Nope.
What about now?
Hey, there you go.
Okay,
We've
good.
got you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good now.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, you're my third guest on To the Moon, man.
Oh man, I feel privileged.
How fun is this?
Yes, it's great.
So, Michael, this podcast is all about you. It's all about the people that are with me in Astro Flipping. I want to know more about you, your life, what brought you to wholesale. So let's start there. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you personally, and then how you found yourself in this wide and crazy niche of wholesale real estate.
Gotcha. Okay, a bit about myself. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. Um, Actually, moved to Atlanta in 2013. Pretty much, it was work related. Been here, I guess now it's hard to believe, almost 8 years. And as far as how I got into wholesaling, I started as a pretty much a flipper. Over the last 2 years, pretty aggressively flip properties. I was really aggressive back in before the credit crisis. I'm sorry, of 2008.
Yeah.
Used to do a lot of
So
deals back then.
you've been in the market cycle like yours truly here. So
Yeah,
love that, love that. So you were actively fixing and flipping leading up to 2008. Tell me what happened there.
yeah. So for me, we were doing very well, in prior to 2008, buying properties, fixing them up, rehabbing, reselling. We had a lot of properties that we held. Held for, I guess we had about 13 properties that we were actually holding. And then we actually started a restaurant back then. So we were aggressive. It was really good. We were doing a lot of deals. We thought the bottom would never fall out, and then all of a sudden the bottom fell out. So for me, at that point, I went back into corporate America and started working up until probably 2 years ago, when I decided to get back into real estate. Kind of dabbled a little bit in wholesaling, did a few deals here and there, spent a lot of money on marketing and doing different things, and it just wasn't the results that I was quite looking for at the time. So um, found myself in a couple of programs, not aggressively into any large program, but just maybe like RDL type programs, things like that. Went to YouTube University a couple times, and just did a couple things to try to further my education and the way to do business. Um, so initially, my wholesaling started off for just trying to find deals that I wanted to flip myself.
Right.
Um, and then of course, that kind of became a little bit difficult when COVID hit last year. So, but that's kind of where I am at this point, right now. So, yeah.
Love it, love it. So
Hmm.
you've been doing some other lead generation. You've taken other courses. Can you talk a little bit about that? What was how did you get into that, and what were your results on that like granular level there?
Yeah. So I guess started off with the old school methods of direct marketing. Spent a lot of money on postcards and yellow letters and different things like that, and I honestly can't say I got a deal out of that at all. I may have got one deal, but it just wasn't the return that I thought it should have been. And of course, now understanding the amount of money you have to spend for that type of marketing, you have to put a lot of mailers out to get a good result. So from there, I kind of went to more of a SMS, RVM, kind of doing a mix of both, a little bit driving for dollars. So kind of incorporated everything that I heard on YouTube University. So, and did get some successes there, but just not the numbers that I was looking for. Yeah.
So how did you do your first deal? Tell us about that.
So my first deal, let me think about my first deal. Actually, it was a referral deal from a family member. Those tend to be the easiest deals. Made about 10,000 off of it. It was a property that was vacant, that had a little bit of fire damage, and I was able to find an end buyer because it was in a good neighborhood. So it was pretty much handed to me. So I initially, even that one, I didn't get from my marketing efforts. So my second deal I was able to get off of RVM, and
Okay.
it was actually virtual. So I was living in Atlanta, and I found myself in St. Louis because I was so familiar with that market that I started marketing in St. Louis, and I was able to get a deal in St. Louis through RVMs and text and RVM. So I probably did 3 using that method as far as RVM, text messaging, and that was probably over a 90-day period, I would say, that I got those 3 done. The next one after that was actually, we just bought it off the MLS and we rehabbed it. We actually did 2 like that. And my most recent one that was through RVM, we actually did the same thing. Yeah. And that was like last year, late last year. Yeah.
Late last year. So, I haven't been very bullish on RVM. I personally, the reason I don't like them is, they're spammy, right? They're spammy, and you can get yourself into TCPA trouble. But again, if you're able to get a deal here and there through it, then I don't have an issue with it. I wouldn't teach it, but I wouldn't have an issue with it. But you came into Astro Flipping, Michael, and you have been one of these pillars in the community. Your success with the group has been phenomenal. And I'd like to talk a little bit about how you found Astro Flipping and what your journey has been in it since joining.
Yeah, I guess for me, a couple of things I noticed in a couple of different ads that you actually had out that just it hit home, because what I didn't say is how much money I spent on RVMs and how many lists I bought and how many leads I had to go through to get the one deal. So,
right. Would you say you made money on that, or did you break even, or did you lose money? Like, what did that pencil out to?
I think once I mastered what I was doing, I made some profit, but it wasn't, what I thought it would be. If I tracked KPIs probably like I should have, I probably would have realized that, hey, over the year, if I would have looked at the numbers and the amount of money I spent, that it probably wasn't much profit at all. And it was definitely a lot of work. You got to go through a lot of no's and a lot of list, to get that one deal that way. So, for me, that's kind of my journey in that world. So it definitely made sense to me when I started seeing you covered in direct mail letters and different things, because it's like, man, that was me, and for me it was a thing of I bought all these letters, I bought all these postcards, and if I got 1 or 2 calls, I was happy.
Right.
Because it's about so much follow up. You got to do so much follow up, and what they don't teach you is you got to mail so many different times. So if you have a large list, then it's going to cost you a whole lot of money. So
yeah, I mean the national average for cost per contract in direct mail is $7,000. So guys,
wow.
let me put that in in relation to what that might look like. So your average letter costs how much to send, Mike?
For me, on average, I guess the postcards were 30 cents, I guess, or somewhere in that ballpark, 37 cents for a letter, or somewhere around there. Yeah,
around half a buck, right? That's what, like somewhere in that 50-cent range. So 14,000 pieces of mail would need to be sent out, and then repeatedly followed up with over and over and over and over again, hoping that somebody doesn't come and knock on that door, hoping somebody doesn't come and drive for dollar and pluck that lead right out from underneath your nose. And that's how you get deals through direct mail. Again, I don't say it doesn't work. I'm just saying that it can cause you some severe frustration by how much effort and time it takes to actually, get one deal out of it. And Astro Flipping's not a cakewalk either. It's not. This isn't a scheme or like some form of, hey guys, I have this magical way of doing business that doesn't require hard work. Astro Flipping requires definitely hard work and tenacity and knowledge. But let's talk about your deals in Astro. How have those happened, and how have you been doing since you joined?
Yeah, I guess for me, I joined in, I guess it was like middle October. Didn't do a whole lot in October, only because I was virtually flipping in St. Louis. It was a deal I found through wholesaling, and I found the deal, and I actually rehabbed the property. Of course, I mentioned I lived in Atlanta, and I'm rehabbing a property in St. Louis, so you imagine how that is. That's pretty brutal. But I put the cart in front of the horse on that scenario, so I kind of mastered the virtual thing. But it so October was pretty much me just absorbing, the first couple of weeks of the course. Didn't do a lot of actions. November hit, still just kind of just understanding the process, and I was still kind of going back and forth to St. Louis, to Atlanta, trying to finish up the project. And then I guess I got really serious and actually started putting things together early December. Then once again, holidays hit, so kind of slowed down my momentum. But I found myself making sure I got on every call I could get on, in which I think I hit every call, and just make sure I continued to go through the course and go back through the course. So there's parts of the course I haven't even finished because I keep going back just to kind of master and listen to the conversations throughout the weekly meetings, and just putting everything together, putting all the pieces together. So so here I am. I think in January is when I really started putting things into practice, and that's me doing the outreach and different things I needed to do to build the business, because like any business, there's a process of building and putting systems in place. And I kind of did a cast my nets approach, because I live in Atlanta, so Atlanta's hot. So of course I'm working Atlanta market. I knew St. Louis market. And so I also rolled out St. Louis at the same time, and then with North Carolina being next door to me, I had a lot of relationships there. So I'm working the three markets. So for me, after probably 3 weeks of actually doing it and grinding, I locked up probably 3 deals in January. We actually closed one right at the end of January.
Awesome.
So for February, I already have 4 in escrow.
Woo!
And I've got one that's kind of pending. And when I say I got 4 in escrow, I actually have 3 here in Atlanta and 1 in North Carolina. And
Awesome.
there's a pending one in St. Louis, working with the home office there. So it's been good, and I understand now. I'm trying to really work on my numbers, so basically just getting to the point that, hey, if I lock up this many, it's a very good chance I'll get closed this many deals, understanding that they all may not make it to closing. But I got the proof of concept, and I'm just taking it and running with it. So that's kind of where it brings me right now at this point. Yeah.
Love it. Demetrios, he's a part of the Astro family. What's going on, Demetrios? Good to see you, brother. He wanted to know if you're scaling it all now. Are you hiring acquisition agents, or what does your process look like at this point, or your team in terms of size?
Yeah, so I can definitely see how the scale the business will really work. For me, I had to get the proof of concept, and once I got that proof of concept last month, it's only been a couple weeks, and then this month is already starting to spill over. So I started having other individuals start doing a little bit of outreach for me, so I can focus more on looking at the deals, comping the deals, and doing things like that are more so I can scale to the next level with it. So yeah, once you, there's a process, like I said, with any business, that you have to learn the processes, understand the flow of things, and erase all the things in your mind that you thought you should be doing, and kind of reset. So I went through that, I think, the first 3 months, and didn't really jump in at all until the third month. And then at that point, you just start following what you've been told. Just follow the script, and it all works, if you put in the work. So
Yeah,
yep,
it's
yep.
it's interesting, right? Because I just actually had the pleasure of interviewing Jacob Simpson, and he was telling me about his process when he first came to wholesale real estate, and he spent a lot of time, doing 2 months of cold calling, and then getting frustrated because it didn't work, and then he did 2 months of text messaging, and then he got frustrated because it didn't work, and then he did 2 months of direct mail, and then got frustrated because it didn't work, and everything was, was short bursts of intense effort, but not just a continuous, consistent stride of sustainable effort, right? And I
Yes.
think that is the key thing here, guys, is that what I've watched, and I've seen thousands of people come through the program and so many get success. And the thing that I've noticed that is a common characteristic of people who gain success in it is the consistent, sustainable action, consistent, sustainable effort, consistent, sustainable lead gen, consistent, sustainable follow-up. When you do that, and remember the words, guys, consistent and sustainable, you can actually build a business on that, because now it's something that you can do every day, and it's something that's you can sustain, because it's not asking you to stand in a headstand or have you go spend, $30,000 or send out 14,000 pieces of mail. I mean, if you send out 14,000 pieces of mail, spend $7,000 for direct mail, and the phone doesn't ring and you don't get a deal, well,
Yes.
what happens, right? You are out all that money and you can't recoup it. There's no way to recoup that. And so, that's the one thing that I truly love about the Astro family, is that, our technique and our process isn't heavy, or doesn't require any money to be spent on lead generation. It's all relationship based. So talk a little bit about that. How has your experience with Astro helped in terms of building relationships within the community? And how about within just the family itself?
Yeah, and I guess I do want to go back a little bit to something that you hit on, because my first couple of weeks, and I think everybody kind of goes through this as entrepreneurs, I kind of had that squirrel mentality, because there was so much to do, and I took focus off of different things, and didn't really get good at one thing. And I heard you talk about that many times to people that were kind of going through the same struggles. So once I did that is when it all started coming together. As far as community, the community, it's a game changer. There's no doubt it's a game changer. I would say, well, I don't have to say, it's the truth. Two of the deals that I have, one that closed and one that's on the table, it's Astro, it's family.
Yeah.
Basically. So I don't have a connection myself in North Carolina, but there's someone in North Carolina that did. So I was able to tie things together with another Astro family member in North Carolina. I've got a deal that's supposed to close today, if not tomorrow, and
Ooh.
it's 3 Astro people, and we all probably make 6,000 to 7,000 a piece off of this deal.
How awesome.
And yeah, that's like incredible. So when you talk about the family and the community, it is a whole nother level. So it's a whole nother
Love
level.
that.
So
And
I'm just just touching the surface on those relationships. So, yeah.
it is something that we strived for in building the community, was the cohesiveness and really getting everybody involved in working with each other. I mean, of course, I do my best to bring as much value to the table as possible. I spend, countless hours a week with you guys on the coaching calls, but outside of that, a lot of the connectivity and a lot of the deal making and work happens just amongst people within the family, people within the program. And you guys do that. You guys are what foster that and continue doing it. We're obviously giving you the platform and giving you the tools on how to interact with each other, but it's just you guys coming together in that beautiful way that creates this magical a capacity to go and connect the dots in different parts of the country. So
Yes.
that is incredible. You know, Ahmed is he was in Astro, and sadly he left us for a little while. You know, life happens, but I know he's really truly wanting to get back on the horse. And he had a question for you, Michael. What is the best advice you have for somebody new and really wants to get their first deal and they're taking it seriously? What can you tell them just based off your experience?
I think that it's first have a goal in mind, and then the number two, you said it earlier, being consistent. If you're consistent and you follow, the proven path, and because the biggest thing what we tend to do is go back to old ways, and I think you talk about we get in our own get in the way of our own self, basically, instead of just going through the flow and the process that's already laid out for us. We try to go against the grain. So just stay focused, stay consistent, understand that nothing comes easy, that's worth it. So it's work. You got to put the work in. It's a numbers game. Everything is just a numbers game when it comes down to it. But numbers with process and a proven plan, and then also with a proof of concept, it's like a game changer, because now you're like, man, I can write my own check. I can create whatever I want to create based on how much work and how much effort I put into it, and staying consistent. So
it's true. It's 100% true. But you said something there that I love, and it was working through the obstacles, working through the challenges, right? And so let's talk a little bit about that, because I don't want to misinform people or make people feel like it's a cakewalk. This is going to be did we lose you again? Oh, yeah, I think we did. Can you hear me though?
Okay.
Here we got you back.
Can you hear me?
We're back. Yep. Perfect.
I can't hear.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Let's see.
We hear you good. No. Okay.
Let's see.
Well, good thing Astro Flipping doesn't require you to cold call, because Mike would be dropping a lot of calls with his headset. And he can't even hear my joke. No. What if you unplug, Mike? We hear you. Nope. Oh, no. Well, guys, I think we might just have a technical difficulty on our third one here.
Oops.
Dang.
Okay.
Let's see if we can get his attention like this. Mike, unplug.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Yes.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Right.
Okay.
Unplug it. Oh man, this is fun. I don't know how to get his attention to see this big unplug. Let's see if I can write it in capitals. Unplug. Unplug. Did you see that right here? You see that there? Unplug. Well, guys, it doesn't look like we're gonna have any luck here on this. Nope.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you, but can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can now. I had for some reason to stop using the headphones.
Yeah, I was trying to get we were all trying to get your attention there to tell you to unplug.
Oh. Okay, we have a do-over then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it takes us to the end of our time, Mike. Is there any parting words that you'd like to share with the people that watched? for whatever time they got with us. Anything that you'd like to share with folks?
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing is, like I said, the family side of it is just a game changer. And if you expect for things to kind of come to you just magically, it doesn't work that way. You have to actually put the work into it. I really appreciate the positive nature of the group that we have and the family that we have here, because it just makes things that much greater. There's plenty of deals for us out here, and it's just a great opportunity to see things a different way. So that's pretty much all I can say.
Love it.
Yeah.
Michael, how can people find you if people want to connect with you, do deals with you? What would be a great way for them to reach out?
Yeah, you can reach me either through my email at mike@dollarvester.com. That's DOLLARVESTER. Like I said, I'm working the St. Louis market, the Atlanta market, and the North Carolina market. Atlanta is my primary market. So if you have any deals, if you want to team up, let's get together.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Mike, it's been great to see you and watch your journey and watch all of your success. Great job coming in and hitting the ground running with it. It's always a huge satisfaction for me and a joy to watch people implement the process, do the work, prove the concept, and then go to the moon. So I'm proud to have you be a part of the family, and thank you so much for all that you've brought to the team and brought to today's episode.
Okay. Thank you. It's been great. All right.
Take care, brother.
See you on the moon.
See you on the moon.